Hello and welcome to Volume 8 of the Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever Community Cast Library. It's been a week or so since the last episode, and in between episodes we've had Halloween, and here in the UK we've had another holiday called Bonfire Night. I hope everybody's enjoyed their respective holidays, and I hope we're all ready for the inevitable grind towards Christmas. I don't know about you guys, but I hate Christmas. I mean, I don't hate Christmas. I hate what Christmas has become, the big kind of commercialized beast that it is. Anyway, I digress. One episode in today's episode. As always, guys, if you enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. All the help is much appreciated. Right, guys, I hope you enjoy. Hello, welcome to a 5 versus 5 on the 10x10 map Pyramid. We're going to call this team at the top right Team 1 and this team at the bottom left Team 2. Starting off with the players for Team 1 going green and UEF. Opening first land, it's Bulletproof Bob. Bulletproof weighing in at 1500 ranking for this replay. Second up for Team 1, it's Morverick in orange going Gaon opening first land. That could possibly be Maverick, I'm not sure. We'll have to see if he gets salty throughout the match, and that should tell us. Thirdly for T1 in yellow going Aeon also opening first land, it's Godzilla coming in at 1500 ranking for this replay. Fourthly for T1 in his customary combination of shitty teal and Gaon, it's Foden opening first land and weighing in at 1500. And then lastly for Team 1 driving a Volvo apparently, it's Macton weighing in at 1200, opening first land, and doesn't have much else going on just yet. For Team 2, first up, it's Matianube going blue and UEF, opening first land, queued up second air. Metia weighing in at 1400 for this replay. Second up for Team 2, it is the lowest ranking player of this replay at 1100 points. It's Autonube going red and opening with Master Cybern Race first land. Got my words mixed up there a little bit, but you get what I mean. Not too much going on. He does have a butt ton of T1 power queued up though, and trudging towards the forward position of the pyramid with 2 land factories queued up there, looks like, for Autonube. Thirdly for Team 2, also making his way forward in white, also going UEF, it's Super Hands Noob coming in at 1600. Fourthly for Team 2, in his customary combination of Cyan and Master Cybern Race, it is Death Squad. Death Squad going land all day long by the looks of things here early on, and Death Squad with a vastly inflated ranking of 1800. I don't know who keeps giving him those ranking points, but I tell you what. Anyway, and lastly for Team 2, it is officially GB Clan's second worst air player. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dro. Dro going red and sporting Aeon today, opening, that was probably first land, second and third air. That's just an educated guess, I don't actually know. Dro weighing in at 1600 for this replay. There are your teams, guys, and already we see comms in the middle trudging forward, and it looks like Autonube is just about the farthest advanced of those comms for Team 2. Farthest forward for Team 1 is Macton, just getting that forward mechs up and then going straight into a land factory thereafter. Macton being followed up by Godzilla, and now Macton simultaneously building 2 land factories at the front there. I never quite get why people do that. Early raiding party going forward from Death here, just trying to pick off the raiding parties of Foden. Ideally both raiding parties were looking for engineers, as is so often the case. And if we just look here in the bottom right hand corner, Foden getting a party just to this bottom right hand corner expansion where you would expect Death to be sending an engineer soon. We do also have an early T1 bomber out for Death Squad, trying to take out those early expansion mexes of Foden, expansion engineers I should correct myself and say, but Foden taking down that bomber with an interceptor without too much hassle. Don't think that bomber got any kills. Over on the left hand side, Bulletproof just arriving in his forward base, or what will be his forward fire base, I imagine, and then his mirror, Meteor Noob, farthest forward quicker, and already has 2 land factories queued up in his forward position, with another building and a 4th queued. I did just notice early on here that Super Hans told Auto Noob that he wasn't going to spam, which is essentially telling his mid partner that he's not actually going to help him out in any way, shape or form. So I'm not sure what I'd make of that if I was Auto Noob, but Super Hans is a 1600, right? He knows what he's doing, yeah? So we should just trust in the Super Hans. And as we can see, the center of this map taken up by a rather large pyramid, which throughout different periods of this match, players will take turns in hiding behind, as we'll see as things progress. In the early air game, Morvarik getting some interceptor spam going up, as you would perhaps expect, and Morvarik also just getting some expansion going around the edges of this map. We see a petit transport, thank you. We see a transport jotting around the edge of the map, dropping off engineers to take these raised mexes for himself. And if we look at Dro also doing the same. So everything pretty standard so far as things play out on this map usually. On the right hand side, we see early exchanges between the forces of Death Squad and Foden. Death Squad here with his ACU accompanied by some Mantis, just taking out the forward party of Foden. And Death Squad now just pausing for a little refreshment of mass income. And what's Foden going to do about that? Well, Foden's pulling the remainder of his forward party back to his ACU just while he gets his forward position built up. Death Squad, conversely, doesn't look very interested in getting any form of a fire base up around these 3 max points here, which everyone else on the map, with the exception of Bulletproof isn't doing it either. So Death Squad electing to build up a spam fest of land here in his core area, whereas Foden has got 2 factories in his core area but is trying to get the majority of his land production up in a forward position, and that of course reduces the moving time to the front lines once those are built. Just a T1 bomber now coming in over to harass Foden from Death Squad, and Foden bringing in his interceptors to make short work of that, although I do think that bomber claimed a max point in combination with some Mantis, I imagine. So most of the action taking place on the right hand flank so far. A lot of T1 spam being amassed by Macton here, and Macton going into a upgrade, starting T2 upgrade. We just saw Death Squad also going into a gun upgrade. Foden also doing a gun upgrade. So both Foden and Death have completed gun upgrades so far, I think. What's Death doing now? Oh no, apologies. Death is in his gun upgrade, as is Foden. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just ignore me. And now we see Bulletproof here marching forward and taking out one of the factories of Meteor Noob's forward position. And for all the extra production that Meteor Noob was getting up in a forward place, it's counted for naught now, and Meteor Noob having to run back to his core area with his tail between his mechanical legs, while Bulletproof just mops up the forward base of Meteor Noob and sucking up the mast. How very rude of Bulletproof, not allowing Meteor to establish that forward position with any kind of real defense. And now Macton has joined in the melee and is pushing forward on Super Hans Noob's left hand flank. I guess you would call it left center flank, just focusing on this T2 Max and Bulletproof moving around the geological kind of cliff bit as well. And the two forces of Bulletproof and Makaton here are joining up and heading straight for the core area of Autonoob, and Autonoob is having to bring back his, or he was bringing back his forces to intercept this push, but electing not to, and I'm not sure why not, because Bulletproof and Makaton now into the core area of Autonoob already at minute 9. How much damage is this going to cause? Super Hans Noob does have some pillars out, T2 tanks, which will start to grind down the T1 spam of Bulletproof and Makaton, but I don't really think there's enough pillars there to stop some damage being incurred on Autonoob's core area here, and already we see a T2 Max having been destroyed. And we've got a paused T1 Lamb Factory there from Autonoob, which looks like it's on a T2 upgrade, but it wasn't killed. And actually, Autonoob really losing a T2 Max and a Hydro there. It could have been worse. So the 4 or 5 pillars there from Super Hans Noob doing a pretty spectacular job of taking out that a mass of T1 spam. And here on back on the right hand side we see a push from Foden. Foden and Death Squad squaring off Com, both with gun. And at the moment now Death Squad just withdrawing slightly just to allow some of his spam to catch up to his forward line. And Death Squad there with a nice little OC on a couple of units. And Death Squad 16 out of 20, 4 kills remaining for his first level of veterancy, and Foden is 5 kills ahead already on his first level of veterancy. So things looking, I mean, I'm going to go with Foden having the advantage just at the moment. In terms of unit numbers, they're looking quite similar, but the as I mentioned earlier, the distance that the units of Foden have got to travel are far less than the distance of Death Squad. But Death Squad here, being a sneaky little bastard, sending in some T1 bombers to thin out the unit count of Foden, and now Death Squad pushing forward with that gun common. Foden's health is starting to look a little bit worse off for the wear than Death Squad, but Foden now with another wave of T1 units coming in, re-pushing forward, and now an air battle ensues over the top of them. Morvrik bringing in his interceptors, but Dro with swift wins, and those swift wins are little nasty buggers, and Dro is absolutely caning the interceptor numbers of Morvrik. And now we've got gunships moving in from Foden, T2 gunships. Just one at the moment, but that can't be the only one. There must be more on the way. Death Squad continuing to harass with the T1 bomber spam, and Foden now is backed up right into the forward area of his expansion land factories, and Foden tried desperately to get some T1 anti-air online here, and Foden looking in all sorts of trouble here. Dro has completely flipped this land battle on the right hand flank. It was in favour of Foden, I would say, but Dro completely flipping that on its head, and now Death Squad in the ascendancy, marching forward, supported by his airplay. And I don't actually know that Foden's going to survive this whatsoever, because Morvrik's got no air left, and Foden is deep into the red, 1800 hit points left, and those T2 Spectres just gnawing on the chassis of Foden's ACU. But Morvrik just about getting enough interceptors in to kill the gunships, and Foden quickly regenning health now, and Death Squad looking like he's just going to settle for destroying the forward base of Foden. Nice little bit of air work there by Dro just to turn that right hand flank. I mean, you would say that he turned it, but it looked pretty even, but I think it was going in the direction of Foden. I don't want to say too much more because Death will probably chew me a new orifice. Anyway, on the left hand flank, we see some T1 units here amassing from Bulletproof. Bulletproof also just fortifying his forward position now a little bit with some point defense, and a Triad going up with capping his maxes. It's always the sign of a confident forward position when you've got T2 maxes and you're capping them. Not too much though going over on the left hand side. We just see Dro there trying to send some T1 bombers up onto this area of Morvrik, and that T1 bomber getting off a spectacular little bomb there, taking out the engineers of Morvrik and that Mex point. So that Mex point is once again up for grabs, and Bulletproof there just looking like he wanted to edge forward, but then deciding just to pull back and regroup there slightly. And Autonoob is shooting the pyramid with some T1 units. Yep, lots of fun. But back over on the right, I should just stay here. Foden in full flow retreat with no reinforcements to speak of coming forward, and Death Squad here with a small tirade of T1 Mantis and Medusa hounding the ACU of Foden. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough. Macton moving in his own Aurora anyway just to help out Foden, but Foden now a level 3 veteran CACU, very close to level 4, and thus the regen outstripping the incoming damage there from Death Squad's raiding party. We now have a ghetto gunship from Godzilla on the ACU of Death Squad. I like the idea, but probably not the thing to do when the opposing air player has complete impunity over his mirror. What I mean to say there is Dro is in complete control of air right now, and a ghetto gunship, not the best course of action. If anything, Godzilla should be pumping out some swift winds to support his air player, but instead electing for some Spectres. Very easy for me to say that when I can see everything that's going on. And Death Squad now just trying to pull his ACU back a little bit, and Macton filling in the gap here on the right hand side as he bears his forces forward to meet Death Squad and perhaps try and hold him back from advancing too quickly, and buying Foden some critical time to rebuild his production capacity. Foden not actually rebuilding too much here. He's gone to T2 land and electing just to go forward with his ACU, either to reclaim or just get on with the main priority of destroying T1 land units. And there we go, Foden getting up a land factory, building over the wreckage of a former land factory, and of course that gives a bonus of 50% build once you do that. How did Death Squad lose? Oh, I'm not sure if I missed something there, but Death Squad either destroying these land factories to pay for T2 upgrades, of which he is not upgrading. God knows. This caster is shit. And now T3 Air on the field at 17 minutes. Probably had T3 Air for a little while now, and Morvrik just sacrificing, don't know why. They don't seem to be giving their lives for any discernible reason, but Dro accepting their sacrifice nevertheless. And Morvrik now with a massive transports loaded up with flares by the look of it. And what on earth is he doing? Well, let's take a look. Morvrik has got a drop order queued up for the back of Death Squad's base. I'm kind of speechless here. I mean, at 18 minutes, I don't get it. I don't get it. I suppose Death Squad doesn't have a whole lot going on at the back of his base, but Godzilla is here with a Harbinger in the middle of Death Squad's base, and I did not notice that. That is probably more of a problem than the entire combination of those pull flares loaded up into T1 transports were ever going to be, and the T1 transports don't even get to make their drops because the transports were pinged and Death Squad quickly moving back his interceptors just to dispatch those transports, and for all that effort and mass that Morvrik has invested into those transports, ends up just being a mass gift for Death Squad. Very questionable play there, I think it's fair to say. But Morvrik now into the T3 air game himself, has got ASF up, and there's just a little foray here between the ASF of Dro and Morvrik as they contest for the superiority of air, and we do have a little restore here off screen, destroying the land factory of Morvrik. That restorer yet to reappear. It may have been destroyed. There it is. It's like peekaboo. Anyway, and we see a little here, a little raiding party penetrating the front lines of Death Squad, making its way towards the corner expansion area. And I missed a HQ here being thrown up by Death Squad. Death Squad completely negating T2 and going straight to T3 on a HQ in this bottom corner here, and Death Squad just bringing back some forces to deal with the raiding party sent forward by Macton. And there is the first brick off the line for Death Squad. That will be a very welcome addition to his forces, and we also have the first Harbinger off the production line for Foden. So despite the fact, sorry, that's actually the second Harbinger off the line for Foden. But despite the fact that Foden had to suffer that loss of his forward position and has been on the back foot for much of this replay so far once Dro flipped the initial engagement, Foden still managing to keep up on tech, and at least on tech is currently even. And Dro now moving forward and laying down some fire on the forward position of Death Squad here, just massacring some Mantis. And we've got a Harbinger moving up the rear of Foden's comm now in support, with some Aurora accompanied from Macton, and Foden now just pulling back his ACU a little bit, allowing the Aurora to move in, and now moving up behind the Aurora, and Super Hans Noob now has entered the foray over on the right hand side, getting up a shield. And it looks like he's got some triads queued up thereafter as well, just trying to help Death Squad fortify his forward position. Death Squad diverting his bricks, channeling them into the main canyon where all the fighting's going on, and Foden just bringing up his Harbingers just to plug this gap here, perhaps worried that Death Squad will cut him behind his ACU and trap him. Let's check in elsewhere. And we've got a push coming in from Bulletproof now. Bulletproof with T3 land here, and Autonube still on T1 units, so this forward party of Bulletproof is going to absolutely shred everything that Autonube's got in terms of unit defense. And those Titans absolutely wrecking the Medusa of Autonube. And Autonube needs to get his skates on here. Let's just jump into Bulletproof. And Bulletproof can see the ACU of Autonube. He's pulling back. Bulletproof pulling back when surely he could move in and just take out Autonube here and now. I'm guessing Bulletproof just hasn't seen the ACU. Probably too busy giving out commands on taking out these T2 point defense of Autonube. But the base of Autonube now, his forward position, absolutely decimated. And I'm going to jump back into Bulletproof here just to see if he can glimpse that ACU again. And there the ACU of Autonube again, once again in plain sight for Bulletproof to see. But Bulletproof not going for the ACU of Autonube. I think that's intentional. Bulletproof there at 23 minutes with an absolutely open goal of an opportunity to kill Autonube, neglecting to take that offering and instead rediverting his units around to kill a forward firebase quickly thrown up by Super Hans Noob here. Not to be too harsh on Autonube, but he was probably allowed to live there as to stop Super Hans Noob getting double eco. I find myself the recipient of that treatment on many occasions as well. Pro empty slot is what the pros like to call us. Sad face. And Bulletproof now, having dispatched Autonube's forward position and a quickly thrown up firebase of Super Hans Noob, just starting to pull back his forward party just a little bit, perhaps worried there that Meta Noob was looking to flank him on the far left side, and this far left canyon threaten the forward base of Bulletproof's position where his ACU is currently being held up. That ACU with a level 1 shield upgrade. So in actual fact, I don't think really Bulletproof was too concerned about that, because there was no way that party was going to do too much damage to that forward firebase. And Bulletproof now bringing those units round to the right hand canyon and taking out this T3 max of Super Hans Noob. That's going to hurt. And Meta Noob now pulling back his forces into his core base area, where Meta frantically trying to get a Fat Boy up and is about 90% done on that Fat Boy. And again Bulletproof withdrawing his forces when perhaps, again, easy for me to say because I can see, but if he'd pushed those forces in there, he would deny Meta Noob this Fat Boy, certainly, and would be saving himself a lot of headaches. Over on in the center now, we saw some T2 gunships being thrown up by Godzilla earlier. Godzilla now electing to use those gunships on some units of Death Squad, but Dro very quickly in to dispatch the gunships, again protecting the forces of Death Squad. And Death Squad here about half done on a Monkey Lord. And we've got TML coming in now from Foden. The completion of the Fat Boy, that's that notification now. The Fat Boy of Meta Noob completed. But where's this TML going from Foden? Death Squad does have TMD up, but one of them is going to make it through, and it takes out the TMD and a mass storage. Foden probably aiming for the mass extractor there, but not quite getting it. But more TML already on the way, and now Death Squad Well, correction, he still does have TMD, building some more TMD, and Super Hans Noob has also completed a Fat Boy. I missed that one being made, I apologise. And Foden continuing to pepper this bottom right hand corner position of Death Squad, but Death Squad now is well onto his game and has adequate TMD in place. And that Monkey Lord now about 2/3 completed. And Foden getting some more shields up, trying to fortify his forward position, just pulling back his ACU slightly. But what are these Fat Boys doing now? Team 2 now, 2 Fat Boys. Team 2 with 3 experimentals on the field. Team 1 need to get a grip of this. I feel like that Bulletproof not pushing forward when he had the advantage earlier is going to severely hamper Team 1's progression from here on out. If he'd moved forward, he probably at least could have killed the Fat Boy, perhaps even got Meti and Noob's ACU as well. That also turning dismissing the opportunity to kill Auto Noob when he had a very clear chance to do so. And Super Hans now moving forward with his own Fat Boy, joining up with the Fat Boy of Meti and Noob. Death Squad Spider trudging forward, having taken some damage. I'm not quite sure where that came from. And we also have a TML base here from Godzilla being thrown up. Perhaps that Monkey Lord sustained some damage from TML whilst it was being built. I'm not quite sure. And we do have a GC up from Godzilla, but it's marched forward, started taking gunship fire, and then is withdrawing back. And we just see a few mercies there in the mix of Dro. Pretty sure that movement with the mercies is unintentional, and then they die anyway. Super Hans Noob, the shield on his Fat Boy has been completely obliterated by the artillery of Godzilla. The Fat Boy is focusing on the GC of Godzilla, which is now bearing down on the Fat Boy, but turning around once again when gunships come in. And that Fat Boy of Super Hans Noob barely making it back to friendly territory with its life. The Fat Boy of Meti Noob faring much better, but sustaining heavy shield damage now from artillery positions thrown up by Bulletproof. And Meti Noob having to pull back his own Fat Boy as well. So Team 1 doing a good job of keeping these Fat Boys at bays early on here. And I'm not actually sure what happened to the Monkey Lord of Death Squad. There it now rests. And Makaton getting a few cheeky engineers perhaps behind enemy lines just to try and suck up as much of this mass as possible before Death Squad moves in and dispatches those engineers. Death Squad here forward with his own engineers, trying to get his hands on the mass, and Foden perhaps anticipating that movement, bringing some sniper bots forward accompanied by some harbingers. Death Squad's certainly outnumbered here on the land game early on. Not early on, we're at minute 30 now, but anyway. More TML coming in from Foden. And quite a lot of TMD up now. I don't expect this to do anything. Oh, but it's taken the HQ of Death Squad down to half health. And Death Squad, having seen that, has immediately reacted by getting some more TMD up. Death Squad definitely does not want to lose that HQ. It is literally his only land factory. Death Squad seems to be really kind of whittled down here. Death Squad getting some more capacity building, but at the moment Foden looking a lot chunkier on this right hand flank than his mirror. But if we just pop back over into the centre, and there's a nuke, and the nukes come from Dro. 31 minutes, and Dro has arguably had air locked up, signed, sealed and delivered throughout the match. Has obviously had the additional resources to throw up a nuke here, and I'm just quickly taking a look, and I don't see any SMD on Team 1. And where's this nuke headed? It's headed for the base of Morvrik. Morvrik's got no SMD. Morvrik's base is going to go up in a big plume of nuclear mushroom smoke, and there it goes. A complete inadequacy of scouting there from Team 1, as it doesn't even look like that nuke launcher was even scouted. Let's just pop into one of them and take a look. Well, the nuke launcher is on Godzilla's radar, so I don't know. I don't know how you would see a nuke launcher and then no one attempt to build SMD. Anyway, that's happened. Team 1 now pressing in the centre. That fat boy goes down to the T2 artillery. Super Hands new with his ACU on hand to immediately suck up that mass. And an attack ping going out on the ACU of Super Hands. Super Hands just pulling back his Percivals here, and as soon as these Harbingers poke their head around the side of the pyramid, they're being alpha striked by those Percies. They are nasty. So Macton having his numbers thinned out there substantially, and Super Hands just trying to fortify this position where the mass is. Mercy strike coming in on Super Hands and not really doing too much damage. Super Hands, of course, with a level 1 shield upgrade there, and those Mercies tickled but did nothing more. And Bulletproof now pushing with his own fat boy over on the left hand flank, pushing the fat boy of Metianube. I think the key difference here is Bulletproof is backed up by a considerable force of T3 units here, whereas Metia is still at T1 and T2 spam. But of course, it's getting those T3 units past that artillery barrage of a fat boy that's proving the problem. And there goes the second nuke from Dro. Where's this one headed? 2 GCs now in the middle for Team 1, by the way. One from Godzilla, one from Macton. Can't quite see where this nuke's headed. It looks like it's overshooting the central position, which means it's probably going for the base of... And we have a nuke launcher in the base of Godzilla, and I'm pretty sure that's where the nuke will be headed. Still no SMD for Team 1. And Godzilla's base going the way of Morvrik's base. I'm not sure if Godzilla had that nuke launcher built when the first nuke went out, but if he didn't, you would imagine that he'd go into an SMD and not a nuke launcher. Lots of things going on in the centre now. We got T3 sniper bots being stashed by Foden. We've got a GC at half health from Godzilla. We've got an SMD critically and frantically being assisted by engineers trying to get it loaded before the next nuke's on its way. Metianube now completing a second fat boy, and that will cause problems for Bulletproof. Bulletproof just hiding his fat boy behind a little cliff right now. And we've got a GC coming forward here from Macton. What is he thinking? Completely unsupported and into a complete tirade of loyalists. Oh, Macton. That was horrific. And Macton here throwing indecision as well as stupidity into the mix, as he then decides to pull his GC back, and then he decides it's too late, and the whole time the loyalists absolutely obliterating the GC, and that was nothing more than a mass dump for Team 1. What a waste of a GC there from Macton. And the third nuke now going out from Dro, and surely he's targeting this central position. He's going to want to take out all of this. He's not going to want to see that anti get loaded. Oh, and he's not gone for it. He's going for the base of Dro. Foden, apologies. And Foden's base completely undefended. He does have an SMD, but it's not loaded. And that is the third base claimed by this nuke launcher of Dro now. And the nuke launcher up to 305 kills. And fully vet. Hero nuke launcher of the Aeon Republic being thrown up by Dro, and Team 1, I don't think... I mean, they've still got quite a lot of units, but Team 2 here looking like they're just digging in and allowing the nuke launcher to do its thing. So Team 2 are going to have to do something, and we do have a GC from Foden in this bottom right hand corner position of Death Squad, just mopping up the base. There was a partially built megalith there from Death Squad, and Foden putting a stop to that, and this base a small victory in what is a greater loss for Team 1 so far. And what will Team 1 do in reply? Morverick has established a land forward base next to Bulletproof here over on the left hand flank. He's amassed quite a lot of TML as well. That could be a good thing. And there goes the fourth nuke from Dro. Surely this SMD in the middle is loaded. Looking at the wrong structure. There it is. It's not loaded. Oh, and it just loads. It just loads. Oh, another 10 seconds, and I don't think it would have loaded in time. Just in the nick of time there, Team 1 getting that SMD loaded. Is that the turning point? And TML now being thrown forward from Morverick. Going for the ACU of Autonube. Really, not going for the ACU of Autonube. Going for T3 power and a partially built T3 artillery station. And Autonube's power here being absolutely decimated by TML. I would have definitely gone for a snipe there on perhaps Meteor Noob with the TML. Would have definitely given Team 2 more to think about, and they still would have had time to take out this T3 artillery unit from Autonube thereafter, with a big opening on the left hand flank. So Morverick is a 1600 that's not played very well this game, I think it's fair to say, and more TML being thrown out from Morverick now, but he's lost the element of surprise, And I'm guessing he'd be going for that Fat Boy. He could be going for the ace. It's just a support commander. Never mind, what do I know? Going for where the Fat Boy was. Nope, going for that support commander. And just here we see a notification that Death Squad starting telly. I just want to see what Death Squad's already got. And there goes out another nuke from drone. We just see the missile going up on the screen there, as if I intended it to be so. So only the normal gun for Death Squad so far. So the telly is the first stage of what surely will be followed up by a Mazer upgrade thereafter. And we'll just hop back into observers, and oh, the SMD's not loaded, and the nuke's going to get through, and the central area goes up in smoke. But back in the middle here, we've got a tirade of T3 kicking the crap out of each other. We say there in the distance a GC for Godzilla, and just here at the forefront we've got a Fat Boy and a Megalith for Matty Noob and Death Squad respectively. But Super Hands Noob with his ACU is just dancing around the front lines here, taking out T3 units while being fired upon by a Fat Boy. The audacity of Super Hands Noob there, and Foden now looking to bring in his T3 complement, and this melee in the middle just getting bigger and bigger, and Death Squad again bearing forward his Megalith, flanking the sniper bots of Foden, obliterating the Harbingers. We've got Percival's moving in from Bulletproof, and pings are going out on Super Hands Noob's ACU. Matty Noob bringing across his T1 and T2 spam now just to try and throw something in the way of these Percivals. Super Hands finally seeing a little bit of sense and pulling his ACU back just a little bit here. Auto Noob bearing forward with Loyalist just to support. And on the left hand side, Macton bringing in a small party of Harbingers, which are now being annihilated by the Loyalists of Auto Noob, and down goes the Fat Boy from Bulletproof. It couldn't cope with the crossfire of the two Fat Boys of Matty Noob and the fire of the Megalith. But it's not over just yet, and Bulletproof, he needs to push those Percivals. Super Hands is at half health. Oh, and a fantastic shot going in from the Megalith there, simultaneously destroying 3 or 4 Percivals. That would have hurt immensely. And the Loyalists now mopping up the last few Percies, and no one has come unscathed from that battle. The Fat Boy's lost its shield. The crew of the Megalith are scurrying around the inside with fire extinguishers. And now Matty Noob counter-attacking on this left-hand flank with his Fat Boy. And I think Team 1 is now broken. That push there was surely the last-ditch attempt to break the fortifications of Team 2. Team 2 held strong. And where is Death Squad here on his... Well, his laser's done. And Death Squad now going in for a tally. Can we... There it is. There's the tally. And he's going right at the back of Maverick's ACU. I absolutely love this. Maverick completely oblivious. Morverick now about to meet his maker. There goes Morverick. The next telly's being charged up. I thought he might go for Godzilla. And there we go, it's on Foden. Foden's seen it. And Foden now is frantically trying to do something. I don't know what Foden was doing there. Instead of running away, he walked directly into the kind of telesphere of Death Squad, and Foden also eating the Mazer in the face, literally in the face, at point blank range. And Death Squad now charging up another tally, and surely he's again not going for Godzilla. Probably isn't aware of where Godzilla's ACU actually is. And Death Squad, where did he go? He must have tallied save. I think Godzilla there control K-ing his ACU. The match is now over. A lovely finale by Death Squad. There he is. Played well, Death Squad. I wouldn't give you man of the match because I do actually think that Foden had you in the early stages of the game were it not for the intervention of Dro. That's just my opinion though. And now simultaneous control Ks from Bulletproof and Macton. And the match is over. Team 2 with a very solid performance. Team 1, should Bulletproof have killed Autonoob? Would it made a difference when he had the opportunity to do so? I think Morverick also could have killed Metionoob with that first volley of TML pretty late on in the game. That could have changed the game. So Team 1 here, not being without opportunity, but not taking those opportunities when they came a knocking. I thoroughly enjoyed that. An excellent game with a lovely tally blitz at the end, just to polish things off. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stuff. And because of all the control Ks, just one kill being attributed to Death Squad there, which I think may have been the kill of Morverick. I'm guessing what Foden was trying to do was K himself next to the ACU of Death and hope that it would be just enough to take Death with him. So taking a look at the categories, Morverick winning 2 out of 4 categories, winning mass income and stuff built. I'm actually surprised that Morverick wins mass income there. I have no idea what he did with that mass income. If we look at Dro, who only just shy of Morverick's income, to be honest, was much more effective with the use of his mass. That nuke launcher was absolutely devastating for Team 2. Dro himself taking 2 of the 4 categories as well, power income and kills. We did see earlier on that nuke launcher on its own getting 300 and something kills. It would have been, I would guess, around 400 or 500 kills by the end of the match, because there was a few nukes after where we looked. Player of the match, it's got to go to Dro. The airplay, not only air control throughout the match, but turning the land battle on the right hand flank between Death Squad and Foden in the early game, and of course the nuke launcher practically winning the game single-handedly for Team 2. So Dro, head and shoulders man of the match. Well played, and well played Team 1. Right guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. All the help I can get from my tiny little YouTube channel will help, and I will be very appreciative. Guys, I will see you in the next one, and thank you very much for watching.